This is Donna.
And this is TJ.
We're the Hills.
And this is
Dinner
and a Marriage.
Welcome back.
That was a delay.
Wow.
I was like, is he going to?
I thought you were going to say something, so I was like, oh.
Hello. That's what I'm going to say. We're back.
Wow.
Guess who's back? Back again. The Hills
Sexy's
are back.
Back again.
We need some friends.
Wow.
Oh my
Speak for
gosh.
yourself.
We need some likes and follows and all the things.
Ah, yes, that would be fantastic and nice.
Yes. So I'll bomb right into it to Shop Talk. Shop Talk, Shop Talk. Let's do a little Shop Talk with Donna. So please like, follow, share, and subscribe to hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time that we are on the tube. Yes, we know it's been a while. We've been trying to find like a reset button. I feel like.
You know, they had that at Staples.
Yeah, remember those big red buttons?
It was the easy button.
The easy button.
Yeah, we need one of those
Yeah, we need one of those.
for like reset.
Reset. It's like the whole thing with the podcast was we wanted to talk about our lives, things we've been through, how we've gotten from point A to point B, basically. And now it's kind of like we're back at
Parenting.
a middle ground of, yeah. We're like, oh, kids are grown up and moved out, and nope.
And we were going to go on our crazy adventure and do our
Yes.
thing. And now sometimes it's not as adventurous, and it all seems like chores again.
Yeah, it does. So,
And I have also now decided that coming out to the middle of nowhere, building a house is not challenging enough. So on top of that, I'm going to start a business.
yes. So we've been trying to put that into motion and talking about, designs and, yeah.
Huh.
Sorry, I delayed
That
for a
was-
second because the curtains are all moving like the windows are open, but then we have the air on.
And
The windows were open.
the windows were open.
And the air conditioning's on. It was funny because I'm like looking over and I think, is the fan just blowing the curtains? And no, the windows were open
No, we decided that we were going to try to cool down the outside because it's
Yeah.
been so freaking hot.
because it's like 90 degrees at 9:20 in the morning. I don't
Well,
think
it's only supposed to be like 97 today.
Well, it's pretty warm right now. I'm not sure what the exact temperature is.
Yeah,
but
it's hot.
It is warm. So, back to what we were saying. So we were trying to find like a reset. So the other day I had the day off work and I was like, oh, let's podcast and do our thing and do. But like we couldn't find
Chi.
a chi. I was going to say like a happy Zen moment. So yes, a chi. So we ended up going out and having some sushi, and that was delish.
In the middle of the desert.
Yeah, but it was so good. There's a place out here, the Asian Bistro, that was really good,
It is pretty good.
and that definitely helped, and kind of reset a few things. But then I think going out last night with Wendy and Martin was a good reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to go do something more than work.
For sure.
Plus, lately I've been in a funk because I feel discombobulated for the fact that I been waiting forever. I don't know what happened out here in this area, but they have been waiting for parts for filters and whatever for warranty stuff for the tractor.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have no tractor, and it was all supposed to be there, and I dropped it off, and they did half the service, and now they're waiting for more stuff.
More
and
parts.
I have no tractor. I don't know There's no way I could have moved out here and not had a tractor. It's crazy.
Right. Well,
I don't know how our friends did that for so long.
Yeah.
I would have.
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
But it's like, when we walk around our neighborhood and I say, man, I never see people outside and doing things. Like, we're always out there, TJ more than I, building and doing the garden and whatever, but we never really see. I mean, we do have, 20 acres, so you have to really be like, is that a person out there? But it's rare, like even walking around, because we try to take walks pretty regularly around, and you just really never see people outside. But I get that when it's like hot, you don't have a tractor, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna just stay inside. So I don't know. But I don't, yeah.
I like to go outside.
Oh,
I like
for
to be
sure.
hot and sweaty.
I'll come home from work and it's like 90-something degrees. He's sitting outside like, because he's worked all day long.
And
But
there's
I'm like, how are you not inside in
A
the
good
cool?
breeze.
There's
Oh,
a breeze.
I don't know.
But
I
you've
think,
also worked outside your whole life.
yeah, and I don't ever want to have an inside job where I'm just indoors all day. It doesn't even sound appealing to me. And I have to be physically doing something all the time.
Yeah. He does.
It's part of the way is.
Yep. Which is good because we need that. That's how we get shit done.
Oh, wow.
So our reset last night, or I felt like it was our reset. We went to the races, and they were stock cars, bomber cars, modified.
Yep.
Um,
On a dirt track. Pretty dope.
yeah, it was fun.
The last 3 main races, there was way too many wrecks, though. And to keep, like, restarting, yellow
Yeah.
flags, and
One of the main events,
crap.
it was supposed to be, I want to say 15 laps, and the second lap around, and it started out with 13 cars, and the second lap around, there was a wreck. Then they went, I think, 2 to 3 more times, and then another one, and then it was like, by the time...
all the way down to, like, 5 cars.
Yeah, by the time it got to the actual end of the race, there was only 5 cars left.
It's pretty funny.
It was like, oh, dang. And then there was one race, it was that race, the leader was way far out, way ahead.
That guy was crazy, though.
Yeah, every time. And then when it gets to the end, if you've never been to one of these small town races, the winner gets out of their car and everyone's like, yay, you won, congratulations. They get
They
a
do an
trophy,
interview.
they do a little interview, take some photos. This guy got out of his car and was like, F you, F this, and F and F and F, and everyone was like, ooh, dang.
He was mad.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, rightfully so. I get why he was mad, but with all the kids and everybody in the crowd like that, probably shouldn't have been swearing the way he was. So either
Right.
way, he walked away with the trophy, and then like 2 minutes later, they announced that he got disqualified. I was like, oh,
Ooh, shoot.
right,
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe not
pretty
have
funny.
a potty mouth in a
Right.
small town. But I think it was right after that they played that song. No. What?
That's funny.
What's the name of it?
Try that in a small town. If you're gonna be swearing like that, we're gonna take your stuff away from you.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
it's pretty funny.
Bad boy. Yeah, so, but it was the best thing about that. I mean, we got to go with our friends and we met new friends, and I saw someone from work there, and that was neat. But it was like jumping back in time because they had the national anthem, everyone stood, hand over their heart, all the guys took their hats off, like, that's such nostalgia feeling of
No,
the
it's
good
small
times.
town, hometown.
For sure.
You stepped back into 1989.
Right. We were like, they have not changed this track or
The playlist.
the playlist since
probably
1989.
1989.
It was awesome.
Some of the people that were there have probably been going there since before 1989.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So immediately we get there and greeted, get your tickets, and they're super friendly right away. Like, hell yeah, have a great time. It's awesome. Like, little banter with the girls at the ticket booth. And the girl's like, hey, someone needs to come to my side. Like, it was really fun. And then we walk in, we go meet Wendy and Martin, talk to them for a minute in the stands. Realize we're kind of dummies because we actually have stadium seats and we didn't bring them.
Little stadium chairs.
Yeah,
The little fold-out ones so
yeah.
your ass doesn't hurt.
So your tush doesn't get numb by the end of the day, which is what happened. But
Oh, dear goodness.
or an umbrella, because this, you get there before the sun goes down and it is just beating on you in those metal seats. But whatever. So
It was warm for like 20 minutes, and then the sun started going down, and then by the time it went down, it was amazing.
it was perfect. The temperature was perfect.
It was
There-
like-
it's not windy. It was just all
Well,
in
we
all.
left there at like 10, and it was probably 73-ish.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect temperature.
It was so
awesome.
nice. But so then we head down and we're like, let's get a snack and, a beer and whatever, and go through the little line. They had hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken wings, or no, chicken strips.
Walking tacos,
Yeah, walking tacos. That's
which are nachos.
basically in a Dorito bag.
Yes.
I was like, oh, cool. We didn't get those, but maybe next time we'll try that out. But then you get down to where the drinks are, and there is got to be this 12-year-old kid, maybe.
Oh, yeah, he was
And he
11 or
was
12.
like, I have all these drinks ready, or I can get you sweet tea or
lemonade or whatever.
lemonade. Just tell me how much ice you want. Like, it was just,
He was like, do you want a half a cup or a full cup of ice?
I was like, I want it filled to the brim, because you get tea, it's going to melt it down anyways.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was pretty warm at that point. And then they also had a raffle to go to a Cardinals game, and we're giving away some free stuff, frisbees. They did the t-shirt launcher all night long.
It's the t-shirt cannon.
Oh, t-shirt cannon all night long. And it's just so cool when they do the intermission and they have all the racers come up to the stands and all the kids run down there and want their autograph. And
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, and when they do the t-shirt cannon and all the kids are running around the stands like, I want to catch a t-shirt. It was just so cute. Adorbs.
It was.
Yes.
It's good times.
It totally makes you feel like all the good feels. And people all coming together and just having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the people. It was fun.
Definitely a must-do once before the season's over.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I think the season ends Labor Day is what I figured out. So I think the
You
second
said
was the last.
September 2nd.
Yeah, so right after Labor Day. Or right before. Labor Day is September, the beginning of September. I'm not sure what exact day.
Oh, you're going to make me look it up now.
I want to say
I want to know.
It's a Monday.
It is a Monday, but
It's a Monday.
let's
But-
see here.
Definitely, if you have the chance to go to a small town raceway, totally do it. It gives you all the feels.
Well, it's the same thing. Like back in Monroe,
Mm-hmm.
that was always fun.
Yeah.
This was just not even as big as that.
No.
So yes. So if that Friday and Saturday is the second, the Labor Day is the Monday.
Yep. So the weekend before Labor Day is the last races there. Cool beans.
Yep.
One of the things that I was like, I really want to talk about this, like the whole small town because it brings us back to our youth for one, but then I look at everything else. Like, I listen to some talk radio in the car, on my way to and from work, and like there's barely ever any good news out there. Like, it's just so sad.
You want to talk about bad news now?
No, I don't really.
I have some bad news.
Oh no, what?
I'm just messing with you.
I'm like, oh please, what is it? But
That I'm awful.
huh. You're such a weirdo. We do have good news. Like, my mother-in-law's gonna come visit at the end of the month.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And we're gonna go to a few places we've discovered out here with her. We were hoping to take her to a rodeo, but there's not gonna be a rodeo during that time. But there will be a parade we're probably gonna go to.
And the races are open that last weekend.
Yeah, we could do that. Invite
could.
Wendy and Martin again. That would be
Yeah.
fun. Faux show. Yeah, I wanted to invite them too to see if they want to go to the house with us. That would be nice. We could all
Yes.
play holy boards or cornhole, whatever you want to call that. That place is awesome. Sorry, choking.
Don't die.
Woo! What were your favorite things when you were young? Like, when you think of that, I think of, that's really bugging me, sorry. I think of, and I think I told you, was like high school football games and how much fun that was.
So high school football games, those were cool. I didn't really go to a lot of those when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Roller skating.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I just saw a post from Kurt that was at the roller skating rink again.
What, they opened that thing?
I guess so. Not the
No.
one by them, I don't think. I think it's the one in Puyallup, maybe.
Oh, dang, that's far away.
Yeah.
Because, like, COVID killed all those in our
Mhm.
area.
Yeah, roller skating. I think we have talked about that before because the kids had a birthday party at a roller rink once.
Yeah, no, but that's at those and
Bowling. Are you
Yeah.
struggling down there, Gunnar?
skateboarding
The
competitions.
dog's like on the cord. Oh, skateboarding. Yeah. I remember having friends that had half pipes in their yards and going over on the weekends or after school and skating, watching all the boys do their tricks and whatever. I could do the back and forth, but I didn't do a whole lot else. I could do the back and forth and then you go up and down on your knees.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I wasn't like all ollies and crazies and
Yes, that was my thing
Loop-de-loops.
too. I had like 3 different friends with launch ramps, and then I got one built for me, and I was pretty stoked about that. And then 2 of my friends in the neighborhood had half pipes.
Mm.
And then one of my friends who lived across town, he had a quarter pipe.
yeah,
Pretty awesome.
totally.
But ultimate 80s stuff.
Yes. I always ask my dad, you know the big field we have? Can we build a half pipe there? And he's like, I don't want all those kids in my house. Get off my lawn.
Oh, wow. That's what we should build out here.
Is a skate ramp? I mean, you could.
I would probably do that later in life just because I'm bored.
Well, we've talked about like we want to do like a track and do some mini bikes or dirt bikes and have a track out here and maybe a track for 4-wheelers. Yeah, it'd be cool to do like a track and have a skate. That would be fun.
Yeah. You just have to have kids and grandkids that want to come use it all. If
That's
not, it
true.
would just get built and then I would go hurt myself and you'd be mad at me because then I can't build anything else.
I wouldn't be mad at you. I'd just be
Uh,
like, wow.
You're dumb
Yeah.
and old.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Nope.
No.
Just overly awesome.
That's so cool though. My sister and I used to ride bikes everywhere. It's like those things that keep popping up that like my parents did not know where we were between 1980 something to 1990 something. Like they just knew we were being taken care of all in the neighborhood with the rest of the kids.
Yeah. I was definitely a community service child.
And there was always that one parent, no, stay-at-home mom that would sit on her porch and be like, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys up to? I'm gonna tell your mom." Like, okay. There's always that one parent out there.
Was her name Karen?
No, probably. It definitely. I remember she would be we lived in two neighborhoods, and in both neighborhoods there was one stay-at-home mom that would be outside with her smaller kids, but always asking the little older kids, like, "What are you guys doing out here? You guys getting in trouble?" Like, no. I remember always hanging out with my friend Pam, because her dad and my dad were friends, and we would walk from her house, this was in Arizona, through the field to like the little store, and they used to have the old, at the time was even old-fashioned Italian soda.
Oh, wow.
It was like a Safeway or a Bash's kind of store, but inside they had, instead of a Starbucks, they had this little counter thing, and you could get soda and candy
Yeah,
and
you
whatever.
grew up in Ritzville, homie.
That was in Phoenix.
Oh.
She
Okay.
lived in like deep Phoenix.
Ooh.
Well, okay. I'm saying it was like, and yeah, we'd get like scrounge up enough money to get a drink and a candy or an ice cream, and
So where I lived in the 80s in Tennessee, before we lived on the big piece of property, we lived in a neighborhood, which is where I met all my skateboarding friends. And it was, I don't know, 5 miles from the base. It was really close. Might have been closer than that. And there was a dirt bike track that people had made down at the end of the neighborhood. You kind of go like down my street. Everything in that, it was like a regular like grid neighborhood.
yeah.
And so you go down to the end of the street, take a left, go down like another block, take a right, and then it was right there on the corner. And that's where we hung out and did stuff. And there was a couple of older kids that were there that were really good on bikes, and we'd watch them. And that was really when I was big into BMX and stuff. And at the time, I also had really bad food allergies, and I would get migraine headaches. And so I knew that I couldn't have like caffeine and chocolate and certain colored dyes and all this stuff would like really jack me up. I'd get sick and throw up and, be
migraines for days.
Yeah, be out for a day or so. But I could have root beer. And I loved root beer. Root beer did not have caffeine. And down in front of like this little community center church looking thing, there was a pop machine. And so my friends and I went over there, and I got a Barg's root beer. And like an hour later, I was dying. And that's when I found out Barg's is the only root beer that puts freaking caffeine in their stuff.
Yeah. You were like, "Mom, I only had a root beer."
Oh, she was like all good about that stuff. She started reading ingredients and stuff, and then she's like, "Oh." It's pretty funny.
That's so weird. I wonder why or how you grew out of that. Because you can eat, or like you have mass amounts of caffeine now.
Oh, I don't know. I definitely grew out of it. But there was a 10-year period in my life. I did not eat chocolate for like 10 years or longer. Could have been 12.
Wonder, it's like subliminal. You know where there's those parents that are like, "Oh, you're allergic to that." Yeah, you can't have that. And then later in life, they're like, no, we lied.
Oh, wow.
We just didn't want you to eat that
No,
junk.
this was like legit. We could go over to somebody's house for dinner, not know whatever, and then find out something had chocolate in it or caffeine or some colored something or whatever, and then there's TJ dying again.
Would you just be like in a ball because it killed your stomach?
No, it was like I had to be in the dark. The room would spin. It was like getting super hammered and getting the spins.
Ugh.
That's what it was like.
I wonder if it had something to do with part of losing your hearing.
All of it could have been all with my ears too. I have no idea.
Weird. Yes, TJ, we may have mentioned it before that you have inner ear.
I have a high frequency hearing loss.
Yeah, high frequency in one ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know, 60% deaf on that side.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten worse over the years. Definitely playing in metal bands did not help my hearing. But
Yes. And then like ambient noise. So like we'll be somewhere and there'll be music playing, like overhead and people talking. That really messes him up too because he's like, I can't decipher the sound. There's like too much happening. Or
smile and nod.
yeah, or low talkers where people, ugh. And that's
Right?
been driving me mad lately. I'm just like, why are you talking so quiet? It's just so frustrating. I'm like, maybe I'm losing my hearing. But then I hear like a pin drop. So,
Yes, you are the all-hearing mom. You have mom hearing.
yeah, and smell. I have a really good sense of smell. But like,
It's because your eyes suck.
where people, maybe, yeah, that could be true.
Could be the overcompensation.
Yeah, but where there's some people though that literally will be right by you and you're like, no, all I hear is
I walk away from those kind of people.
oh,
I just can't deal with it. I
it's
can't be like the
stop,
80 times what man.
right? And the thing that's frustrating about that is even if you say, hey, you talk too quiet and I can't hear you, they still keep doing it. I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to talk to you, so we're good. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Because if you ask someone, like if someone kept saying to you, hey, buddy, hey, buddy, hey, buddy, and you're like, can you not, don't do that. Like, and they don't stop doing that, are you going to hang out with them? No. Because that's annoying.
This is true.
Yeah. It's like
Don't
having,
be annoying. You'll
it's like
have
having
friends.
a little kid that just doesn't listen. Like, don't touch that. Don't touch, stop, don't, stop it, stop it. What do? You put them in a timeout or you spank their booty.
That's true. Start spanking all your friends, babe. See how far that gets you.
Like, come here. It's that thing where I'm like, put your hand out,
Right?
whack you,
Little
grab my
creepy and
wooden
weird.
spoon. That's funny.
Yes. Pretty funny.
Now I'm going to be advocating abuse.
Why are you talking so quiet?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to talk quieter? Or there's those people you say, oh my gosh, you talk so quiet. I can't hear anything you say. And then they're quieter.
Yeah.
Like, really? Maybe we're just really loud.
No, I don't know. It's like people that somebody speaks a different language. And so when they talk to them, they talk at them and they talk really loud.
Like, and enunciate everything. Like, they,
Do you need to use the restroom?
still doesn't know what that means. But okay.
It's so funny. Way back in the day when I worked at Rogie, Big Joe, he was talking to one of the Hispanic guys that worked for us, and the guy didn't speak that good at English, and Joe was just almost yelling at him. And Ernie walked over, and he's all, Joe, do you understand that man speaks Spanish? He's not deaf.
For real, though.
It was so funny. I was like, oh, I felt so bad for that guy. He was like looking at Joe like, what in the world?
Why is he screaming at me?
He was
I
trying
must
to
be
explain
doing
something
something
to
wrong.
him. But that guy also naturally talked loud. And so
Oh.
when he decides to talk louder, it's like, oh, volume button, homie. But yeah, but it was super funny. He's like, Jesus Christ, Joe. Guy speaks Spanish. He's not deaf.
But that's I feel like that's a very common thing where people talk louder or really try to enunciate. Okay, yeah, like enunciating a word you don't understand is not gonna make you understand that word. Would you like this money? The person's like, what?
That didn't help me sound it out.
Right, don't you're sounding out a word I don't know.
I unfortunately was not hooked on American phonics.
Right?
If I was, we
Yikes.
wouldn't be having the conversation that we're having right now. It
Right.
seems very difficult.
Yeah.
I will say that to me, it's still very funny because I was there, I witnessed the whole thing. I was just like, this is incredibly awkward and hard for both people. But I worked with an Asian guy who spoke very little English.
Okay.
And I worked with another Hispanic guy who spoke very little English. But do you know what both of those guys spoke?
What?
Very little English. Okay? And they got into an argument one day.
Okay.
And the only way that they could argue is through the very little English that they both had.
And we're back. We've changed positions a tad, but here we are.
A Hispanic man and an Asian man.
Yes.
And they both spoke very English, but they got into a big argument, but the only way that they could communicate to each other was in English. And it was
Oh, they were actually trying to yell at each other.
yes, in English and in broken English, and it was awful because I felt bad for them, and people were trying to step in and figure out why they were upset, how to get them to calm down, and then when they both basically at the end of it just started swearing a bunch at each other in English with really stiff accents. It was hilarious. It was absolutely one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my life. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
oh, wow.
It reminds me of, no one knows that watches our podcast, I don't think. I mean, other than our family, that my mom is German and that's her first language. And she speaks English. But anytime my friends would come over or anything, she would say something to them and they would look at me like, will you translate? And I'd be like, she's speaking American. They'd be like, no, mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
She's always like, nope, we don't know what she's saying. Because her accent was so heavy. And now that she's been in Germany for a long time, I mean, at least 20 years, I think, her English is even worse because she doesn't speak it anymore. But yeah, very broken English. She would always, and luckily, I would think for my friends and whatever, because sometimes she would say stuff that I'd be like, Mom, because they have no filter. They'd literally just look at you and be like, oh. She would tell people oh, I know a dermatologist you should see. Like, Mother. Or what do you eat? Because you need to lose weight. Stuff like that. And oh my gosh. And they'd be like, what'd you say? Nothing. She said nothing. Let's just move on.
Huh. Nice work.
Yeah. But yeah. So. She would be, what's that called when they...
Blunt?
No, well, blunt for sure, but now when you say something
Offensive?
They're like, you're canceled.
Oh, wow.
You've been canceled, ma'am.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Well, on that note, I think that we're going to cancel ourselves.
Yep.
We're out.
Bye. And before you go, visit us on our social medias at Linktree/The Hills on Wheels, linktr.ee/The Hills on Wheels, no spaces.